America is too much in debt. You've got to love this consortium of bankers that publicly engineered this, openly calling for themselves to be given world government power for us to pay them carbon taxes. And they're in the news today, all over the news, saying the answer to your problems is cutting Social Security, raising taxes, and basically giving all your money to us. What does it mean when the UN and others start beating the drum for the dollar to lose its world reserve currency? A, what does that mean? And B, what will happen if that unfolds?
Well, first of all, it's the wrong thing to have austerity and to increase taxes simultaneously. It's the best thing to do is to have austerity and cut taxes so that money will continue to flow into the economy so that you don't have a dangerous and wretched depression. As far as the dollar being jettisoned, the powers that be within the United States from behind-the-scenes banking and Wall Street, they have ravaged the dollar ever since after the Second World War, and of course, since August 15, 1971, when we had the gold backing taken away from the dollar. And it's been downhill since then. And everybody who is in that genre is very well aware of it. And so they finally decided that it's time that the dollar was replaced, and they would like to use the SDR, which is backed by nothing. And so it's no better than a dollar or any other currency. It's fiat, as it's called. And so what they want to do is kick the ball off by getting carbon taxes passed in the United States and then throughout the world. And part of those tax revenues will go to the IMF and the World Bank, and they will back the SDR with income that comes from these carbon taxes. At the same time, there'll be a big meeting, and like so many in the past, and they will devalue or revalue all currencies versus the SDR, and that'll be arbitrary in nature. And then I think they will also have multilateral defaults among nations, and the final configuration I don't know of as yet because we're not close enough to that happening. But that's what I think they intend to do, and that, of course, is why gold and silver are doing as well as they have, because people are saying, gee, I don't want another fiat currency. Now, that currency, the SDR, won't be used in commerce domestically by nations. Nations will still have their dollars and their pounds, etc., until they decide to make a change in that as well. But for the time being, I think they'll revalue and devalue the currencies versus the SDR. I also feel, and I was talking about that when the break came, is that the European nations and the European banks are no better off now than they were 2.5 to 3 years ago. And neither are the banks in the United States. And there's another crisis brewing. Nothing has been put to rest over there. I think that eventually the weaker countries will pull away from the euro, and I think it'll be abandoned. And why I say that more than anything else is that not all the mistakes that they've made, which should be prevalent to people who watch that scene, but also I see in Europe a movement toward decentralization. They went into centralization with the euro and the European Union, and it really hasn't worked very well. The German public really wants to get out of both of them, and I think they think it's time. They think that was in part punishment for what went on during World War II, as was the grievous price that they had to pay to join the two Germanys together some time ago. I guess it was in 1991, 92. And so I see disruption there. Well, this is being reflected throughout the world. I mean, we've got all kinds of banks that are insolvent, central banks. We got the United States government, particularly the Treasury, and other central banks, along with the Federal Reserve, who are trying to make and talk gold down for the last 25 years, relatively unsuccessfully. And I think what we're doing on talk radio, as well as on the Internet, is really taking its toll. And we talk about this every week. And I heard you talk about it with David Icke as well. We've got them on the run, and we've got to keep them that way.
Well, Australia has announced, because their government's approval ratings are literally in the low 20s, and when the people are asked, why are you angry? We're angry about the carbon tax, which is very draconian there, the most draconian in the world we've seen, where they just laid over half the country's land that people already owned, that farmers were using off limits. We're mad about the carbon tax. We're mad about internet censorship. And so they've now said, okay, we're going to drop it for a year. And they admitted because of an election coming up. And I see this tactic constantly. They can tell when we build up to a critical mass that if they continue to fight us, we're going to win. So they always back off. That's like twice in the last 5 years. They were going to put illegal toll roads on 183 North, Mopac, 290, all the major roads of Austin where you can go nowhere. I mean, I live 15 miles at least from my office, and I can get here in about 15 minutes because there's big, nice highways that were built in the last 2 decades, and I paid for them, and they're all paid for, and I paid for them with the gas tax, and they admit this isn't even about paying for new roads. This is about taxes because foreign center of Spain has come in. This is globalism. And bought off politicians. And so 5 years ago, they were going to do it. The people got mad. They backed off. Then about 2.5, 3 years ago, they said, oh, we never even said we were going to do it. And now they've announced we don't care what you say. We're taking 3 lanes and making 2 of them a toll road when that's illegal to make an existing road a toll road, federal and state law. And they just don't care. And then we'll fight them again, and then they'll back off again. They never give up. We can never give up. We need to understand that this is a 12-round fight here. But what can you, when we come back, that tactic they use, Bob, because it makes me so angry.
Well, it's a strategic withdrawal. It's dialectic in nature. And I'll come back with you.
We'll talk about it when we get back. It just makes me so mad. And, of course, it's Kirk Watson, and everybody's got their local shyster like him. This former mayor that literally stole tens of thousands of acres from people, turned around and gave it to himself, built things all over it when it's supposed to be environmental preserves, and now he's illegally up there, openly illegally. I mean, it's illegal. Going to slap toll roads on everything when we've beaten him over and over again.
Remain in your houses. The President of the United States has declared martial law under Executive Order 11,004.
Will they do it? Will they pull the trigger this time? We all pray they stand down, but an engineered crisis seems more likely with each passing day. Think it can't happen here? Executive Order 10990 locks down all highways. Executive Order 10995 seizes control of all media outlets. Executive Order 10998 controls all farms and food supplies. All these executive orders are now cocked, loaded, and waiting for the right crisis. So if you're worried about the possibility of martial law here in America or have questions about how to survive it, go to martiallawsurvival.com. That's martiallawsurvival.com. Go to martiallawsurvival.com right now.
You must remain in your houses until your bracelets are scanned.
The Fall of America and the Western World is an all-new 10-hour documentary and survival guide rolled into one. In this film, you will see the reasons why our government is failing and what you can do to prepare. Featuring Dr. Paul Craig Roberts, Joseph Farah, David Icke, Naomi Wolf, G. Edward Griffin, Doug McIntyre, Mark Crispin Miller, Mickey Z, Doug Casey, David McElvaney, and myself, Alex Jones. Protect yourself and get the tools you need to protect your family from these difficult times. The Fall of America and the Western World at www.thefallofamerica.net or click on the banners at Infowars.com and PrisonPlanet.com. Again, that website's www.thefallofamerica.net or call 800-655-1577. Prepare yourself and the ones you love today. Fallofamerica.net.
What started as an idea to provide power for a small hunting cabin has grown into a passion for creating an alternative energy source that's both affordable and reliable. At Wind Blue Power, our goal is to provide you with the best selection of parts and accessories to power your own ideas. Whether you're building a wind generator from scratch or you prefer a complete bolt-together kit, we've got you covered with fast worldwide shipping and impeccable customer service. Visit us at windbluepower.com. Think green, go blue at Wind Blue Power.
Hi, this is Ted Anderson. Have you ever wondered why banks, stockbrokers, investment advisors won't talk about gold IRAs? They've been available since 1986, yet the financial industry won't recognize the value of gold for your retirement. Gold has outperformed paper investments, yet no word about IRAs. If you would like to have gold for your retirement, call 800-686-2237.